What them fans say. Hey. Whoa. I don't know why that song in my head this morning. Oh, because I'm hot. Shout out to that. That's what it is. My hot. I'm hot. I see my cards. You see my handy dandy cards. I guess I'm gonna have to give me a yes sir. Baby, I guess I'm gonna have to give me a fan. You see, I feel like I'm gonna have to give me a fan for my handy dandy spot. That just is what that is, okay? For my extra set. You see, when I need to get out the set. Sometimes I be needing to get out the set. Yeah, shout out to that. I said sometimes I be needing to get out the scene. Oh, so I come up in here. You see, I come up in here, I get ghosts. I be getting ghosts on my family. I sure do, because I'm like, listen, you see, y'all. I got to go do my thing, you see. Mm, mm. So shout out to that. Let's see here. Yeah. Say yeah. Period. Uh, child. So no caption needed. Did he? You see, that's just Diddy. That's the bottom line. Like that's what they saying in court right now. That's just it. Like, did he do this? Oh my God, let me tell y'all. Today is such a crazy, crazy day. Mm, mm. It's crazy. It's like more than the first day of school. Yeah, for real. Shout out to that. This is more than the first day of school type of bubble guts. You see, it just is what it is. Like, oh my God, the jury, they're gonna start their deliberations today, y'all. Mm. The judge said, okay, um, that this morning is going to be no, hold on. First of all, let me tell you something. Yesterday was a very long day. Yeah, shout out to that. And shout out to my bestie, my Lord Savior in Christ. Like, everything to me. Okay. Absolutely. I'm nothing without him. Absolutely nothing. You see, my cookie will crumble. Okay. Mm, mm. Without him. So shout out to him. But like, something told me yesterday, like let me just say this. It's this place by my house, right? And they got energy drinks and I've been wanting to try one. So yesterday something I went and got an energy drink. You know, it just is what it is, like that. I just wanted one. First thing yesterday morning. So I drink it, right? I down it. And oh my God, when I tell y'all, thank you so much, Emily. Shout out, thank you, Emil. And shout out to you for jumping in my comments too. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. And happy Friday. Today gonna be a good day. So shout out to that. Yeah, I claim it. I usually do that though every morning. So anyway, and then I walk in faith with it too. So like I was telling y'all, I went and got me an energy drink yesterday morning, and it's almost like the song's like God is trying to tell you something. You see, it just is what it is. Cause I don't know what made me do that. You know, I don't have energy drinks every morning. I don't have coffee every morning. It's just like really how I'm feeling. You know, it's just, yeah, it's one of them days, like Monica said. So anyway, Lord, let me tell you something. I got to taking my handy dandy notes on this Diddy case. And before I knew it, I was like, okay, Lord, now that I make sense, this is why I had an energy drink. Y'all, when I tell y'all I am dedicated, you see, it just is what it is. Like, wow. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think this is day 32 or something like that. Like, I don't know. They all starting to run together. They all starting to look the same. But at the end of the day, ever since this DDK started though, I don't believe I've taken this many notes though. Not this time. Not like yesterday. When I say I mean I have pages and pages of handy dandy notes, and it's a trip too. It's a trip too. Because I be like paraphrasing and trying to, shorten it, slim it down a little bit, because that'd be a lot. That'd be a lot of note taking, a lot of writing, a lot of trying to keep up. But anyway, yesterday I was able to get it in. Okay. So shout out to that. And now we have a recap. It just is what it is. Now, like I was telling y'all, the judge, real quick before we get started, y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, okay? Y'all make sure y'all click subscribe if you haven't already. And then let me just say this. Shout out to all my new subscribers, okay? Yes. Shout out to you for hitting that button, clicking that button, and joining us, okay? Joining our channel. Like, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me tell you something. We have a funky good time here. Me and my audience. My audience is my pooper stars, period. Cause like we just, we going places. It is what it is. And so, like, I appreciate y'all for joining us. It is what it is. You're going to have fun here. All right? It just is what it is. So, like, welcome. And, like, all my people stars who've been here, y'all know I love y'all. Love y'all down too much. You know what I'm saying? Love y'all to pieces. Okay? It just is what it is. So, anyway, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, though. And so, listen. Let's get into it, all right? Because I got so much stuff to tell y'all. It just is what it is. And I got a couple of things to do this morning, so it is what it is. But anyway, the judge. Okay, so off the rip, y'all, like off the rip, you see, the judge said no interruptions. There will be no interruptions during closing arguments, and I'm like, I like that. You see, I do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do. Like let it ride. You see, like let these folks get this off their chest. So I love that. Okay, there will be no interruptions. So I'm thinking in my mind, okay, so no objections. Oh, that's gonna be a nice day. You gotta hold your peace on it. Whatever you gotta say, gonna have to wait. And anyway, so tomorrow the defense, like I was saying, the judge said the defense gonna close. They're gonna open up, but the judge told the jury out the rip. Tomorrow gonna be a longer day, so it is what it is. But so get ready. Absolutely, get ready. Have your extra snacks. You see, and get you something good to eat for lunch, because yeah, it's just one of them days, like Monica said. But anyway, he said defense will start, and then the rebuttal, right? Because the defense gonna say what they gonna say, and then if the prosecution feel like they need to like rebut anything, like whatever, like get on top of whatever the defense said, they gonna come on through. You see, and then yeah, like my handy dandy notes, they gonna come through. And then after that, the judge said he gonna give his instructions, and then on to deliberations. I was like, oh, I eat, like Diddy, it's your time. You see, yeah, shout out to that. Like, this is what you wanted. Like, we here, like we here now. Ain't no turning back, man. It is what it is. Lord be with you. You see, and I take it a step further. Lord be with everybody in the courtroom, okay? Because everybody gonna need him. So shout out to that. Now, so now for weeks you have had this is how the prosecution started, okay? Matter of fact, let me get her name out the way. Her name is Slavic. Okay? Her name is Christy Slavic, okay? CJ, Hey, CJ. Hey. Happy Friday. Shout out to you. Have a good day. You see, today gonna be an amazing day. You just, let me tell you something. Ha! You see, shout out to that. Like, that's a whole nother language. When I do that, that's a whole nother language without saying nothing, you see. Okay, so shout out to that. Today gonna be an amazing day. Sometimes you gotta claim that. Okay. Yeah, for real. If you like, what? You gotta set the vibe, like you have to set your own tone. Quit letting stuff just happen to you. You see, I said just quit letting stuff just happen to you. Mm, mm. So shout out to that. Anyway, you see. So okay, so this is how the prosecution started out. They basically said 4 weeks. Okay? For weeks, you heard how Sean Combs, okay, was the leader of an organization who doesn't take no for an answer. He's into kidnapping, arson, and sex trafficking, and forced labor. Now, she said, go with me. You see, I'm about to take you on a ride. She said, think about these 2 moments, okay? March the 16th at the hotel, he got violent with Cassie. Hold on, let me see something real quick. Let me just make sure. Okay, yeah. I said, yeah. She said he got violent with Cassie and drags her back to a freak off. Okay? That was March of 2016. And then in 2024 at Jane House, he choked her and bop. That's what he did. He bopped her in her face, and she ran and couldn't get away. She said all chapters from the same book. You see, she said, yeah, same story, different day. That's what Miss Pressica hit Diddy with. Now, yeah, you ain't changed. Nigga, you ain't changed. You ain't changed. You ain't changed. You see? And now here we are. So anyway, he counted. Hold on. He something. Hold on. And shame. Something about. Okay, my bad. I can't read that. So okay, so he thought he was above the law. Okay, for several weeks you heard how his staff was used to promote his power. Okay, and no one stood up to him. We will talk about RICO, including sex trafficking and transportation for prostitutes. Okay. Now, first of all, viewer discretion is advised here. This is a grown-up channel. Everything we talk about is grown-up content. Okay. Yeah. So shout out to that. Hey, good morning, Claire. Good morning. Shout out to you and shout out to that. I say you the lucky one. Then you see, I say you the lucky one, superstar. So shout out to that. I'm honored. You see, I'm honored to have you this morning. Okay, so shout out to that. Make sure you hit subscribe. All right. Yeah, you see, because you here for a reason. We'll see about the season, but I know you here for a reason. Okay, so shout out to that. You make sure you come back. So anyway, she said we will talk about RICO. We talking about a RICO. The RICO including sex trafficking and transportation for prostitution. Okay, your discretion is advised. We talk about a lot of grown up stuff, and especially in court. Okay, especially in court. Yo, baby, listen. Okay, grandmamas gonna have to be ready. I said they're gonna have to be ready for what old Diddy was up to, okay? So anyway, let's continue. Which is also separately charged and they are standalone crimes, okay? So the RICO stands on its own. The extravagant can stand on its own. The transportation for prostitution, you see, got its own legs. So that's that. He used his power, okay? He used his power. He used violence and fear to get what he wanted, according to the prosecution. A group of people who served and protected him. He used a group of people who served and protected him to fulfill his desires, okay? Including sexual desires. You see? And he should have left them out of it. It just is what it is. I said he should have left them out of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like Gunna said. Like, everybody trying to cheat the system. Everybody trying to beat the system. Everybody want to cheat the system. It ain't no cheat codes. Okay? Y'all heard what the Bible said. Y'all heard what the Bible said, right? Y'all heard what the Bible said, right? Get you one person and sit down. That's what it said. Okay? But no, not Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Diddy thought he could do something different. And here we are. Okay? So, anyway, let's continue. She said, we need to show 2 racketeering crimes. 2. That's it. Okay? Yeah. Why everybody sit back at home thinking we got to do this and we got to do that? No. Let me tell y'all what she said again. She said we need to show 2 racketeering crimes. He was the head of an enterprise, according to this prosecution. The feds. A federal prosecutor, okay? Oh, yes, baby. Diddy going up in there with the big dogs like Smokey said. And he was the head of an enterprise and had an inner circle. Chief of staff and bodyguards. You feeling me? You feeling me? You see, because Diddy defense kept saying, these people ain't helped him really do nothing. These people really don't know nothing. And I said, you know what? They kind of got a point with that. So I'm like, well, everybody who knows something, they ain't in court. Ain't none of them in court. Everybody who knows something, they ain't in. You see, ain't none of them up on the stand because I feel like a lot of them couldn't even get immunity if they wanted to. You know, it just is what it is. Hold on. So, the names changed, she said, but the role stayed the same. And I told y'all that. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I can't say it's crazy, but like they going over years and years and years, right? You know, because one thing about the feds, they allegedly watch you for a very long time. Real long time. Like, they have the time. They have the resources. This is these people's job. You see? They own it. Like Diddy said. Don't worry about it, Diddy. They are on it, okay? So anyway, they gotta listen. Yes, you see, the feds is just like Kevin Gates. They don't get tired. They don't at all. So KK was the right hand man. In other words, she was the right brain, according to the prosecutor. She lived at 2-star, according to Slavic. You see, Christy girl over here, the prosecutor. She the one talking that talk today. She was the one talking that talk yesterday in the courtroom, okay? Yeah. Miss Pressy girl was talking that talk. She said KK lived at 2-star. KK was in communication with everybody. You see, everybody. Diddy, the girlfriends, the security. Security was always armed and ready. Remember, it was testimony about Diddy himself. Okay, having pows. Having like Soulja Boy said. Y'all know I don't really fool with Soulja Boy, but you know, for different reasons, I still fool with Soulja Boy. You see, I won't list them out here because at the same time, like, no, you see, you're not finna just absolutely not harass me, okay? So no, I just keep some of my thoughts. I'm gonna keep to my damn self, okay? So shout out to it, even though y'all know I share a lot. Y'all know I share a lot with y'all. All of this data in my head. So she said. Damn. Here we go again. Okay, so she said, remember the testimony about Combs having bows at his house. They found them too. She went and talked about all the guns that they found. They found 2 ARs, no serial numbers on this stuff. He had rotating assistants, okay, that was being paid for by his business. Now I made a note here real quick. I had to stop and make a note here. Wait. I won't tell y'all just yet. But anyway, let me continue. Brendan made $100K a year. They put us all in KK business. KK made 6 times that. And she basically went on to say, she didn't say this part, but I'm going to add this in. When you making that kind of money, that's me. This her. When your boss asks you to buy drugs, yeah, something for him to get every day, get out of time, you do it. But you're committing a crime, okay? She got him cash, and she got him stuff to get high, okay? Drugs. She was a member of the enterprise. Combs knowingly was a member. He was the boss. Racketeering X, that's what y'all want to talk? Let's talk about it, okay? She said the distribution of drugs, kidnapping, and bribery, forced labor, okay? Travel and commercial sex. Cover-ups. Let me tell you something. I had to look up commercial sex, and that's just basically when it's money involved. So while the charges are often associated, okay, this is what she's saying. Racketeering is normally associated with the mafia and organized crime. See, that's what we're used to. That's what I told y'all. You know, we be looking for you know, we be looking like all the American gangster audience. Yeah, please stand up. You see, just please stand up. That's what we be looking for. But she was saying, no. They currently apply to the legal activity that Combs and his loyalists carried out. How she calling them people loyalists. I love that. You see, I do. I'm at to steal that. I'm a loyalist. You see? Yeah, when it comes to my boo. And he better know it. That for all of us. Yeah, like I said. Yeah, okay, hold on. I already said that part. You only need to find that someone will commit 2 acts in any category. It could be 2 acts of distributing, drug distributing. It could be 1 kidnapping or 2. But you only have to find 2 things that he did. You have far more than that. That's what she said. Far more than that. She said, let's start with the drugs, okay? She said, and ingredients, for a freak off. You know what I'm saying? In other words, y'all know how most pizza has what is that called? Tomato sauce. It's an ingredient. She said drugs was an ingredient, okay, for freak offs. It just is what it is. Every single time. She said the law says that when someone commits a crime as part of a group, they are more powerful and they are more dangerous. That's what happened here. That's exactly what happened here, she said. She said he is a very powerful man who became even more powerful and more dangerous with the support of his circle and his business, the enterprise. You see, ooh, I said, okay, Miss Pressicur standing on business. She said, hold on now. He was powerful. You see, but she say bad boy made him even more powerful. Which I just gotta stop and I gotta say, man, that's why we be so mad at you, Diddy. That's why we be so mad at you. You don't build nothing this big and then tank it. So anyway, the most involved were D-Rock, KK, and Fahim. I said I knew it. You see, everybody that didn't come to court. None of the security came to court, and that's weird. Others helped to keep the supply right. The drugs. And we ain't talking about no Mary Jane. She said, now we talking about the hard stuff in the house tonight. La di da di da da da. She said, like when Brendan Powell said, remember he testified. He testified about coke, meth, oxy, ketamine. Ketamine is a dissociative drug, meaning you can dissociate. GHB, like some of this stuff. Listen, man, some stuff named in Diddy court, Diddy case, I ain't even heard of before. Never heard of. GHB, mushrooms, Molly, Tootsie, and a pink dye. Okay. So Tootsie is dyed. All right. Remember, it's dyed pink. I was about to pull out my glitter, but we ain't got time today. You see, we ain't got time for our fake Tootsie. So anyway, the Army of Assistance had to have known. They have to know about everything as far as crime. No. I take that back. That's not what she said. That's not what Mr. Pressicur said. She said the Army of Assistance, they didn't have to know. Okay? Let me tell you something. What she doing today, she's setting the record straight. Okay, it's just what it is. Like, you see, I had a lot of concerns. Remember, I had a lot of concerns. I was like, oh my God, y'all throwing these ordinary people into this hard, tough spot. But it's like, hold on. They do have help. You see, like Country Wayne said, help is on the way. Okay, because like, yeah, no. She is breaking this thing down. Okay, period. She said the Army of Assistance didn't have to know about everything as far as the crimes to be part of the enterprise. Okay, so you didn't have to know what this one and that one was doing, and when you ordered up some something, you know what I'm saying? Some when you call One Stop or Guido, you didn't have to know what was finna transpire after Diddy got what you called them up for. You know, the package. In other words, they called it the Guido package one time. She said foot soldiers. Ooh, I like that. You see, I like that. Hold on. Now let me just say this real quick, because I took a note of it. The rounds with kidnapping. I feel like that's kind of hard to prove a little bit in this case, because when you think of kidnapping, right, you think of somebody like just held some kind of way, you know, kicking, screaming. But I will say this, it's just really how you look at it, you know. Because like it seems like she was forced to go somewhere and forced to do something that she really wasn't into, you know, like that. So that's that, you know, they I feel like they got their hands tied with that one. She said the foot soldiers did not have to know about all the crimes he was committing. Did not. Okay? Did you see? Did y'all hear that? They did not have to know about nothing. They didn't have to know about all the crimes. But they played a role in his scheme. The quantities are not relevant and not an element of this crime. Distribution does not require a sale. Okay? Off the rip. You know, in the hood, we always hear with, you see, you know, them hood charges. Okay. We be thinking, you know, you like, but she cleared it up right here. Distribution does not require a sale. Okay. Like I said, I didn't know that. We all know the names of the plugs by now. That's what she said. We know Guido, we know One Stop, we know Baby Girl. Jane said she was told to bring drugs twice along the trip. She spoke with KK and it showed in text. Jane got with Guido. He was called during hotel nights. So we know it was more X. Okay, according to this prosecutor. Yeah, okay, Miss Pressica, I feel like she kind of reading between the lines, and you know, she using her common sense. Okay, two of the three things that I told you you're gonna need in court. You're gonna need your common sense. You're gonna need to be able to read between the lines. Yeah. Okay, you gotta be a whippersnapper. It just is what it is. The girls in the back probably ain't gonna be able to do court. It just is what it is. So shout out to that. That's okay though. God got something in store for you too. Anyway, though, she said Jane got with Guido. He was called on hotel nights, and we know it was for more ecstasy. The security team knew. They knew what it was. Guido text for him. Puff owed him $450. Puff has a $450 balance with me. Hello, give me my money. You see? Just give me my money. That's what Guido said to Fahim. And then Brendan Powell asked for $780 for personal Gucci items. And that was number some hard drugs. You see, that's what the prosecutor said. She said it does not matter if he was buying kilos or selling them. Personal use is still distribution. That's what she said. I mean, yeah, hold on. Personal use is still is that the word? Dang, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Yeah, that's what it is, distribution. She said personal use is, hold on. Personal, it doesn't matter if he wasn't buying it or selling it. Personal use is, oh, no, that's not what that word is. My bad. She said personal use is a distraction. You see, Diddy's attorneys want you to be distracted. Don't be distracted by that. They bought and distributed it. Cassie used it every single freak off. All of them. Everyone. She was supplied everything by the defendant. She was supplied by the defendant. He introduced Jane to drugs too, and she used them at all but one hotel night. He gave drugs to Kerry Morgan, Bonner, and Brandon. KK knew he was giving drugs to these women, according to the prosecutor, for these wild king nights. Jane told KK she was having a bad come down one time, and KK gave her some pro tips on how to deal with it. Plain and simple. What I'm saying, everything I'm saying is drug distribution, okay? According to the prosecutor, her name is Christy Slavic. Federal lady. You see, she part of the Alphabet Boys. So anyway, how about kidnapping? She said, now we finna get into that. This was committed under both the California and the New York law. Cassie said bonds made her stay put. The defendant called Cassie a slut. Then he stomped on her face. She was disfigured, okay? Roger Bonds caught up with her and brought her back. The defendant made her go to the London hotel, and so nobody would see her. She wanted to go home to her mama, okay? But no, she was not able to. Capricorn had jewelry that had came up missing. They took her to do a lie detector test. The man, she testified that the man who was doing the test told her if she don't pass it, she gonna end up in the river. In the river. Diddy, she also testified that Diddy told her, if anything ever was to happen, he, might have to get rid of her. Ruben helped. Okay. He helped with the kidnapping of Capricorn. Ruben is one of the security guards who probably ain't in that much trouble, because even though his name come up, it don't come up that like that. So anyway, he told her, he banged on Capricorn door, told her to get dressed. We going to Merc Cuddy. That's what they said. They drove. He had the burner in his lap. He had a pow in his lap. Okay, this was kidnapping, according to the prosecutor. He made her. Hold on. Okay, he drove her a substantial distance. Okay, I guess that matters. That matters when it comes to this case. He said he wouldn't let, or I guess I would say when it comes to the kidnapping charge, he wouldn't let her go until she brought him to Cassie, who he kicked repeatedly when she arrived. Into a fetal position, by the way. The prosecutor is on it, okay? Yeah, she listens, okay? She's not holding back. You can tell. You see, she said, oh, yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going to go for it. No objections either. Child, I'm going in, like Luane said. So, anyway, in January of 2012, the defendant had Kid Cudi's car set on fire. Arson. Somebody cut open a hole in his car and threw in a Mazatau cocktail. Now, we're not suggesting the defendant did it. The defendant don't even buy his own self soup. I said, okay, she ate with that. She said, we're not suggesting it was the defendant. He doesn't even buy his own self soup. You heard from the voice notes. He said he was going to blow up the car. And then what are the odds? It happens. And it happens. What are the odds that this was the same car that Kid Cudi was driving the night in question? Yeah, she was eating with that. She was basically saying, like, nah, we don't think Diddy did it. We think somebody did it at, Diddy's orders. You see, one of his loyalists. It just is what it is. Remember, I told y'all the jurors will need, okay, that's what I'm telling y'all. Remember, I told y'all the jurors going to need common sense, be able to read between the lines, and view the evidence. That's how I feel when it comes to Kid Cudi car. Kid Cudi wasn't into it with nobody but Diddy, says the prosecutor. Diddy was having a freak out with Cassie and an escort named Jules. Okay, so this is when they started fighting at the Intercontinental, and Cassie tried to get away because she had business to take care of. They said Diddy was having a freak off with Cassie and Jules, the escort. Flores found Diddy sitting in a chair with a devilish look, they said. He saw another man. Diddy tried to hand Flores a stack of money. So this was the first attempt at a bribery, according to the prosecutor, okay? When Cassie left, she started doing damage control. He called her over a dozen times. Then he texted her. Call me, the cops are here. The manipulating. He was manipulating her because he knew he could be arrested. Video caught the assault. He banged on Cassie's door after that with a hammer. The neighbors called the police, okay? Eddie delivered the USB and KK and D-Rock was there. The defendant counted the money dollar by dollar, the bribe. Eddie was asked what if Cassie Eddie asked Diddy, what if Cassie called the police? So the defendant knew. You see, because remember his team was trying to say that, well, he wasn't trying to stop them from going to the police. He was trying to stop them from putting a video out. Well, she's saying he knew. He knew they wasn't going to the police because he asked, well, what if Cassie called them? And so then after that, the NDAs were signed. He knew what he did. He knew police involvement was gonna would hurt him. She said the two are connected. She said the inner circle, they assisted, willingly or not. Threats, drugs, violence, and lies. He used threats, drugs, violence, and lies to make them have sex with escorts. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember, this is not for kids at all. This is for an adult audience. Very mature. You got to be very mature to be able to stomach this content as far as Diddy goes. So not attempting to criminalize, like she landed on thick. She like, because I know they gonna say this and I know they gonna say that, so let me hit them with this. I'm not trying to criminalize a dysfunctional relationship or personal or even personal sexual behavior, but she's saying they didn't want to have sex with strangers while the defendant masturbated. Pleasured himself. They were covered in oil and sore over and over again. We are no. Okay, she said, we're not asking you to find that every hotel night or every freak off was trafficking. We're not even asking you to say the majority of them was. You only need to find the elements were met one time. You see? One time. So while everybody like with all of this, just give me, you only got to find one time that you feel like, you see, that the elements was met. Okay? Just one time. One freak out. That's it. And he gonna be guilty. But it was way more than one. I said, ooh, yeah, these closing arguments, they impeccable. They impeccable. They straight to the point. And she ain't even doing too much. She is not doing too much. She ain't dragging Diddy to back to the freak house and back. You see, she not. And she could though. But she very well good. I said she just very well good. She said, consider this. The sorority party at Jane's house. Let's start with the love bombing stage. Jane was head over heels for Diddy. They traveled to the Caribbean. Dr. Hughes talked about this. She said she never met Jane, but it was like she knew her. Because she talked about grooming and her being love bombed is a tactic. Diddy gave her X, okay, and she fell to the ground and started convulsing. He liked baby oil and red lights. And so, like in May of 2021, she wanted to please him. She was high, okay? She was high. And they had a freak off. That very night, an escort came. She was excited at first. After the first experience, she was excited. She testified that she didn't realize that she had opened up Pandora's box. It became 90% of the relationship, according to this prosecutor. Prosecutor Slavic. It became 90% of their relationship. For a while, she went along with it. Then she said she didn't want to. She wanted it to stop. There are texts about this. Hotel nights were not about what Jane wanted. They were about what he wanted to see. You see? Think about that. Think about that. Think about that, child. Hey, everybody. Shout out to y'all for jumping in my comment section, too. And jumping in the building. Y'all in the building. Listen, y'all in the place to be. So shout out to that. She said it wasn't about what Jane... Hold on. Let me go back. Hotels were not about what Jane wanted. They were about what he wanted to see. Yeah. He decided how long, Jane said. If she wanted to stop, hold on. He decided how long she was going to have sex with these random, strange men. She said, he decided how long. Jane said, if I'm going to have sex with strangers, then let me pick them. The defendant made her ask for nude photos. She didn't want them. I mean, they were not for her. When she wanted to use protection, he was not happy about it. He was dismissive and condescending. When she wanted to make it faster, he told her to slow down. She asked for a getaway. He said they'll go on a yacht, but they didn't. They never did. Lies. The prosecutor said, see, what he did was he lied. Here's what Jane writes in her notes app. I don't want to have you use me to fulfill your freak desires in these hotels. He used her. He used her rent as leverage. Okay? According to this prosecutor. She wrote the threads and the innuendo, I guess that's how you say that word, innuendo, are non-stop. Which, dang, I looked that word up. And I forgot what it said. It said it meant. Dang, I forgot. But he wanted an all-star party with 3 men. She sent a picture of her period blood. While she up there saying this, the jury are being shown photos, okay, of almost 27 people down to 30 men, okay, hired for freak offs. That's a lot. I just want to stop and say, that's a damn lot, okay? There are recordings of Diddy saying he's about to disappear. I'm about to disappear on you, baby girl. You got to get on your job. You got me on my job. She said the message couldn't be clearer. Not taking no for an answer. After reading Cassie's lawsuit, Jane says, it's like I'm reading my own sex trauma. 2 of my birthdays, you forced me. You gaslit me. It was sexual exploitation. Framed as love for your sick fantasies. You know, I would say, I don't know. I guess I would say right there I had questions. I'm wondering if Jane ever knew that it was other people that did them too, or she thought she was the only one, or whatever. He called her and tried to set her. He called her and basically was trying to get her to say that it was all consented to. After that, he fed her a false narrative. Okay, according to the prosecutor. In the clip, he talked over her. Dr. Hughes mentioned how victims can trauma bond with the abuser. Jane felt like Diddy didn't listen to the truth. He didn't like to listen to the truth. He would just tell her to move on and that she could get with his lawyers and basically her silence, can be bought at any given time. So she said she testified she knew he meant she needs to do a freak out because he was paying her rent. Hold on. He said it's not a threat, but it was clear, according to the prosecutor. It was clear as day that something about that to take away her home and a no could. It was clear as day that I guess that he could take away her house and that could turn a no into a yes, basically. That's coercion. So Jane wrote Diddy was going to show her tape to her baby daddy. He said, come see me. She makes it clear she don't want to freak off. Despite his promises, he called an escort. He assaulted her and then forced her to have oral with an escort. This is trafficking. It was interstate. He crossed state lines and the Astro Glide did too. I said, ooh, he got him, coach. I hollered. Absolutely. She said, Diddy knew. She said Diddy knew, okay? Or he recklessly disregarded that force. Threats or force or coercion was used. In 2025, he made her feel like she was going to have a proper time in New York City for the weekend. But he invited escorts. So she's explaining how the girl was bum rushed with escorts sometimes, sometimes he tricked her at times. She sent a message saying it's dark and sleazy and I'm in fear of losing my home. He responds, girl, stop. Then he FaceTimed her about stopping and having dinner. I guess stopping, freak outs and having dinner. But according to the prosecutor, he lied. Okay. He also texts Paul Arthur as an escort at the time. And he set up hotel nights while she's flying in the air. He tells her, it's a surprise. I got a surprise for you. But she don't want it. She didn't want it. So again, at times they saying he lied to her about what was going on and what they was about to do just to get her to show up. And then it would end up being a freak off. Which by the way is an act. It's an act of S trafficking. Okay? According to these prosecutors who got Diddy in court right now. He tricked her. This is under coercion. She called an escort to New York. There's text in New York City that says, I knew you was going to pair me with a random. In the sobriety party, she didn't use nothing. She was sober. And she ended up, puking. She said she puked. And so she texted him. After that, she like, listen, I'm not a porn star. I'm not an animal. I need a break. He responded, let's do a day tomorrow. No strangers. So in other words, manipulation. Keep going. You keep going. We'll hang out tomorrow, just me and you, like Cassie said. She replied to him, you're going to love bomb me. In other words, you're lying. He changed from something about a carrot to a stick. Okay. After vomiting, he said, get back out there. They were supposed to have a fun, what was supposed to be a fun date night, ended up with them drinking and arguing, she said. She pushed his head into the counter. He kicked down 3 doors. She said she didn't want to have sex with the escort, but he wouldn't take no for an answer. So she performed oral on him, okay? After that, this is on the escort. After that, Diddy told security to pay the escort, but they didn't have the money. So the next day, that's when Jane Ubered it. I said, that's wild. Y'all do stuff like that? Child, she said she put the money in an Uber and sent it to him like that. Coercion, okay? Something about 3 nights. I see 3 nights. Where a buildup of fraud, coercion, and force, okay? According to this prosecutor, y'all. Hold on. Okay. So, wait. I'm gonna have to go find the rest of my notes. Okay, so there's video of her looking into it, but she's high. You know what I'm saying? So like they're saying they're saying that like they have shown you videos of her looking like she with everything that's going on, but she high. That's what the prosecutor said. He threatened to release tapes of her. That's coercion. Now they get into Cassie. Cassie was 19 when she got with Diddy. Diddy was in his late 30s. He took her on a yacht, gave her some X. They had sex. They became a couple. He was her boss. He called all the shots. When she turned 21, he molded her. He was abusive, physically, emotionally, psychologically, even sexually. He didn't take no for an answer. They're calling this domestic violence, but he forced her to have freak-offs. He controlled everything. And he demanded that even her nails, certain stuff like her nails, be a certain way. Hold on, let me take a minute and read that. I hope you still here. Let me see. Shout out to you and shout out to that. Make sure you come back. You see, like Craig said on Friday. But Smith's Music, shout out to you for leaving this comment, said he not guilty for what he's being charged with. Okay. That's what Smith's Music said, y'all. But let me continue. And when you get up in here, hit the like button. You see, it sends waves out into the universe. So shout out to that we live. So anyway, she was asked to do a video. Puff said no. He made her dependent on him. He paid for everything of hers, every single thing. He transported her across state lines and even borders. to where freakouts was taking place, y'all. Cassie said she never had a freakout without being high. He beat her. He threatened her. He forced her to have freakouts despite her being ashamed. He demanded money from her parents. $20,000. Which the government says that it's crazy because he gave them an account number to send the money to. And you know the government, they got pulled. They could do whatever they wanted to do. Child, check the bank account. It was $3 million sitting in there. Why are you messing with these people, Diddy? He beat her and hid her in hotels so nobody would see. Paulie knew, D-Rock knew, and Ruben knew. He took control over her life and her career. Cassie said he threatened to release her tapes. He assaulted her in Jamaica. He beat her up in Vegas. She was curled up on a toilet one time, and D-Rock was there. He cried. Then the one tape in 2016, it was her normal. It was her normal. Get hit on for Cassie was her normal. But she did see him attack other people. Bonner, Mia, and Nash. Bonner might have got the dates wrong, but she was injured. He once had Cassie hold pop house for him. Dr. Hughes explains how hitting can lead to fear. Even in Africa, Cassie could not get away from him. KK called her constantly. And D-Rock, who pretended to be loyal to Cassie, would only talk to her and go back and tell Diddy every single thing. You know? The prosecution is basically telling us how she had nobody, okay? She was being played by him. He was playing both sides. He talked to Cassie to tell Diddy everything. They had dinner. He R-worded her after dinner. She said no, she cried. He still did it. He wrote the next day, I could tell you wasn't, turned on by me. After that, though, she did meet up with him and have, consensual sex. According to the prosecutor, they had a trauma bond. Hold on. Something about hours long performance. He masturbates and sometimes films, just like with Jane. Sometimes he told escorts to urinate on her. Viewer discretion is advised. Sometimes he would. Why? Because to turn himself on. She became addicted to drugs. She wrote, I love our freakouts when both of us wanted. Jurors, this is not an all or nothing situation. There was times he knew she didn't want to do it. This is trafficking, okay? She obviously doesn't want to have someone urinate in her mouth. You saw the video. You don't see weapons. You don't see, you see her having sex, masturbating, and he moves the camera at times to focus on the escort, not even Cassie. It's clear this was about his fantasy, not Cassie. Before the video in 2016, Cassie had a movie premiere. She agreed to a freak out, okay, for damage control. She said, I don't want you to think I don't want to. She knows he won't take no for an answer. He got Jules to come. They argued. He hit her. All she can think about is her premiere. She takes off with no shoes. He threw her to the ground. They played the video in court. He drags her back to the freak off. The freak offs had sessions, okay? They were in between sessions. He took her bags. She did not follow him. She was using the phone in the lobby, the elevator lobby. He came back. He grabbed her phone and kind of just hung around. He's standing there. Even though he's in a hotel looking ridiculous, wrapped up in a towel. That's what the prosecutor said. So when Flores arrives, he's styling. He's still there. He knows that Jules is in the room, probably naked, according to the prosecutor. The defense claims he took back drugs from Cassie that day, but you can see him in control. Cassie wanted her bags and her keys to leave, or she wanted her stuff to leave. He offered Flores money. After that, they show a picture of Cassie going home, and however she got home, with glasses on to cover up her black eye, and she had her lip was swollen. The defense might say that the violence wasn't in connection to the freak off, but it was an attempt to get her to, but it was an attempt to get her to continue. She texts, "I'm not a rag doll, I'm somebody's child." In New York, there was a freak out with Daniel. Daniel was not paid for his time. That's ridiculous. Diddy called Cassie to the room. She kept using the computer. He threw a bottle at her. He dragged her. He slapped her. And then after that, Daniel couldn't perform. He was done. So, but let me just say this. She said, but a completed act is not needed for the charge, okay, of sex trafficking. You don't have to complete it, in other words. This is sex trafficking. Then at a Cane's festival, or Cane's, I want to say that's Cane's festival, he accused Cassie of stealing his drugs. And he threw her off the boat. Something about Mia heard audio and recognized the voices. On the plane back to New York City, she tried to switch seats. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get away from Diddy. And he followed her and was showing her S tapes as leverage. He wanted her to be scared to say no, according to prosecutors. Cassie said she didn't know what no would mean. She didn't know what it would mean, what it would lead to, or if it could turn violent. Because he could be violent. Followed by the defense saying she made a choice to stay. Okay? But if you're Cassie, think about it. This is leverage. This is leverage for Diddy. The fact that she was scared to really say no, because she didn't know what that would lead to. That was leverage for him, according to the prosecutors. The drugs, they were numbing. The drugs was disassociating. The messages doesn't mean that she wanted a freak off. Listen, in 2009, Diddy wrote to her, "You supposed to be seducing me all day." So that would explain a lot. If he feel like he's supposed to be getting seduced all day, child, like a damn woman, then, I agree. Her sending either one of them sending me some on he text don't really matter. It don't really matter because like the prosecution is basically laying the facts like this man wants you to talk crazy to him all day long, dirty, if you will. Okay, so anyway, Cassie told Diddy she didn't want to do a freak off. Her B-Day party, during her B-Day party, he demanded that she did a freak off, and she did. What choice did she have? Asked the prosecution. She didn't have freedom to make choices. He spent the whole flight of their way back to New York, making her watch Freak Offs and threatened to release them. She felt scared. She felt trapped. When he demanded a freak off in New York, she didn't feel like she had a choice. So count one. It was Diddy there. His employees knew. KK gave men access to these rooms they shared. Perez found the video of Cassie having sex with an escort. I think they were wrong about that. He found the video of Jane, I believe. Unless he found the video with both of them. So anyway, KK saw it too. Fa saw it. Fa took drugs to the freak off. Between sessions, yeah, he would take drugs to the freak offs. KK would send stuff. Remember, Diddy would be like, I need some more oil. She would send it. She'd tell me to be right at your doorstep. D-Rock would put ice on Cassie's black eyes. It would be absurd to think that D-Rock didn't know what was going on. Of course he knew. David James said he seen a stranger going to the hotel room. Even Nash said he saw a stranger. Hold on. West. Two people saw a stranger going to their room. Jonathan saw video. They crossed interstate lines to travel for prostitution. Okay, according to the prosecution, the defendant paid escorts. He caused the travel. They was traveling because of him. He booked it at times. The transportation counts do not require force, fraud, or coercion. That's crazy. So get that off your mind. So even with consent, it was still a crime, according to the prosecutors. It don't matter that the people was down to go. It was a crime for him to do it. It was a crime for him to provide transportation with the intent to engage in prostitution. Count 3. Okay, so a freak off involving Cassie and an escort was booked. Okay, and the travel, all by Diddy. Diddy bought the man ticket, and they even have receipts that Jules was at the hotel for sex. He stayed at the London Hotel, and there's a $2,000 bill from the hotel room. Okay. Now Diddy didn't act alone. He needed drugs. He needed money to keep these women in line. He needed drugs, he needed money, and he needed to keep these women in line. KK would set up these rooms, and she would give men access to these rooms. KK, okay, they talking about count 1. You can tell that Rico. KK pressed Jonathan about the tape he saw. Diddy gave Jules something about Diddy and Jules is the count 3. But there's more, okay? He flew Paul out as well to Turks for sex. Diddy asked, how should I pay? Reggie was flown out from Vegas to LA for sex. Prostitution. Hold on. The prosecution rested, saying it's time to hold him accountable. Okay? It's time to find him guilty, baby. That's how she ended. I said, oh, yes. Party boys. You know, I was like, oh, Lord, go put her with the, what's they called? G5 boys. Yeah, because she didn't hit Diddy with the flex. Yeah, it just is what it is. She hit him with the flex up in their courtroom. And The truth of the matter is, y'all, I was so here for it, okay? Long story short, the prosecutor did her thing. She did. Shout out to her and shout out to that. I feel like she really didn't leave no stones unturned, you know? I feel like she made things simple, you know, for the jury to understand, because now even I got more, understanding of what the hell is going on. Okay, Diddy is being charged with 5 counts. 5 counts, which is just another way to say 5 charges. His charges are, hold on, because I wrote them down in my handy dandy notes. I sure did. For all of us. So he has one. Dang. I had one job. I had one damn job. You see, I believe 1 count of racketeering. I believe that's one, and then 2 trafficking charges, and then 2 transportation to engage in prostitution charges, which I feel like the transportation is just like slam dunk. And I'm guessing if you Diddy's team, that's it. You know, like I'm guessing they told Diddy, this other stuff we gonna fight. That might be the only one that you get charged with, you know. So I'm thinking Diddy probably like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, now that I can handle. It's all this other stuff they coming at me with, man. You see? But it is what it is. They got court today. I'm gonna be there, rise and shine. Let me make sure I do what I need to do so I can tune in. You see, so I can tune in for y'all, tune in for my audience. Slim it down, you know what I'm saying, process it, put everything, I summarize it, right? And then we come here and we talk about it. Let me know what you thinking. Let me know what you thinking. You do not have to be a part of the live chat to drop your comments. Still comment, okay? I want to know. I want to hear from you. I want to know what love is. You see? So shout out to that. But let me get on with it. Let me move on. Let me go about my day. Hey, I might come back and do a video, but I don't think I am. You see, because like it's all like how much you see me is really, it's up to the news. You know, when the news get the news in, then I'll be right here. If it ain't, then I'm somewhere enjoying my life, touching grass. It just is what it is. Shout out to everybody who came through. I appreciate it. I had a funky good time with y'all. I always do. So shout out to y'all for making that possible. And don't forget to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all on my next video. Bye.